Good day to you, future leaders of the world. What I want to talk to you about today is something that I experienced firsthand, something that is a result of oppression, a result of degeneracy, and a result of ignorance. Something not addressed, but I shall call it a culture of desperation. People became so desperate these days. It is based on irrational fear, irrational actions, and irrational delusions that haunt people. They find no other way to go instead of the course which they've been told to follow. They find no other options instead of the options they were told to do. They have no thought of their own. They basically take the thought of others who are insignificant or shouldn't be qualified to give that advice. This results from social pressure and results from others who are inexperienced when they convey information. We used to take information from those who have knowledge. Now we take it from a retarded media or some friends who just talk around where they show off. Look at my swag, look at my car, look at my whatever they have. And it's all borrowed money on the wealth of your ancestors or those before you without achieving something concrete, something strong in the real world. This is what I symbolize as someone going to a grocery store and they want to buy something. They want to buy it, they want to take it, but they don't want to give anything in return. This sense of demanding is bringing us all into a world which looks like hell, to be honest, because we're expecting to take without giving anything in return. A whole culture of avoidance of reality developed because of this illusion, where you have this 30, 40-year-old guy sitting in his basement playing League of Legends, watching anime, and you know the stereotype and what goes on after that. And it's just killing productivity. It's a waste of time, a waste of efficiency, and a waste of years. People should be better than this. We should all be better than this. Giving up is not an option. Those who give up would ultimately end. And on the other hand, you have perfectionists. They want to do everything perfectly. They want to fit in the model and all the pieces. And for me, if you want to do something perfectly, then you shall fail perfectly as well. Because ultimately, nothing can be made perfect. There are always limitations, there are always challenges, and there are always things to consider in order to improve. To just say and think that something is perfect, to make all the improvements, is a complete disregard, not just in the ways of the past and how things are usually working with knowledge of statistics, but also a complete disregard of the future. How can someone produce something so perfect that can no longer be improved? How can something be so perfect that in the future something will not make it look obsolete, of no value? The thing is, the world is based on change. It is based on adaptation. And this desperation overwhelms a lot of those in society. Desperation comes in many forms. One of them is a job, a salary, or getting a partner, or being in a relationship. one of the most common things, and it's a relationship. Imagine this. You would want to have a partner, you want to have a relationship, and you have the dullest, most boring life, which even you don't approve of. So, who would want to buy that product? Who would want to invest in this? Who would want something bad from themselves considering their options that are available in this day since the world became more open? No one would like to give themselves to something that's not exciting to them or not interesting to them. And end of the line is that if you hate yourself, if you disregard yourself, then you shall be disregarded by others. And the focus here to improve society, to improve the collective, you have to improve the individual to fit in with the collective while also making them improvise on their own, providing new ways, providing new methods, moving progress, moving forward, and creating something better for the whole instead of creating something only for themselves. People need to learn the value of generosity, the value of giving, the value of not being selfish, of not being egoistic and narcissistic to the level of expecting others to come to you if you have nothing to offer them. No one would come to someone who has nothing to benefit them. This is a true reality of the world. And anyone who thinks otherwise is basically deluding themselves. How can you provide for others if you can't even provide for yourselves? How can you get respect if you don't even respect yourself? How can you improve and make things better if you yourself are stagnant and unimproving? This is the dilemma of the degenerate. They focus on fixing whatever they see, but they don't see themselves. The first thing that has to change is the self. That's the first requirement, the one and only in the beginning. Anything after that would work on its own. A lot of those pursuits, a lot of those dreams that are being chased around come on their own. After you work on yourself, after you progress and move forward, after you satisfy yourself, good things come on their own. They shouldn't be chased. They shouldn't be savagely sought after, because that's just greed. That's just impractical. To waste one's life thinking of only one thing and one thing alone is no way to move forward. To think of only one opportunity while forgetting about dozens and thousands of others is not a way to move forward. It is a way to move backward, to destroy oneself, and to just forget about the principle of reality. There are many other options. There are many other ways. There are many alternate lifestyles, alternate ways of thought that aren't necessarily that weird or aren't very attention getting, or it's just a way of thought, a mindset for growth, which is not being taken seriously. I mean, those who say they want without consideration, you give them a method, right? You may want to help them. You may want to advise them and you give them that method. Okay, all right, if you want to get in better shape, then go to the gym or go exercise. And they don't. Things don't magically just happen. There has to be discipline. There has to be order. There has to be a proper will to lead the way. And the problem of this age is entitlement. When one is raised to just receive whatever they want, whatever they ask for, they think that the world works that way, and it doesn't. You don't just wish for a six pack and get it. You don't just wish for a car and then you get it. I mean, for others, they can buy some of those things, but things that have to do with yourself, your character, your foundation, those things don't have a price. They cannot be bought and sold and exchanged over. Those are qualities that you are responsible for, that you have to educate yourself on. So, this has led to a withdrawal from society because those who couldn't satisfy those needs live in a sense of desperation and say, oh, yeah, we're fine without it, even though they know that they're not and that they need it. A lot of people need it. These are basic needs, they cannot be ignored. So they just withdraw themselves and create their own illusion, their own drugs to combat this, to separate themselves from their pain and suffering, not knowing that pain is necessary to grow. Pain is a force that moves an individual forward. Anger is a force that moves an individual forward to change their lives, to change what's wrong, and to create a new solution to things. Many people don't want to act. They don't want to think. They don't want to move forward. They don't want to take the effort to do whatever it takes to succeed and help those around them. They would just think of themselves. They hate that extra effort. They hate that time. They make up all sorts of excuses to avoid the reality which they are facing. And this can be enough to get you by, but it won't be enough to make you succeed. They focus on things that have no value. They focus on one thing while there are many others. They humiliate themselves. They debase themselves. They put themselves in arrangements where they don't have the rights. They don't have the responsibilities. They want others to take care of that. They want others to serve them. They want others to pamper them, to take care of their needs and wants without even thinking about them. And people aren't mind readers. People are basic individuals, just like me and you. A lot of people are like us. Basically, on a ground level, on a foundation level, we're all the same. We can't read each other's minds. We can't anticipate. We can't program someone's life for them. We can't give them everyone they want. And anyone who says that, I mean, without any claim, without any backup, without any statements or proof in the real world is basically a charlatan, a liar, a deceiver, and a manipulator of mankind. And what the elite did, those who used those tactics, they made it impossible for others to learn about them. They gave them their illusions. They gave them their alternate realities. They gave them their drugs in order to keep them down because they hate that competition. And those on top, those who are rich get richer, and those who are at the bottom get lower and poorer. Because we inevitably, some of us, have that poor, low mindset. It's not about money. It's not about possessions. It's about the mind. Even those who win the lottery squander all their wealth. Having wealth is not the issue. Keeping it is. And that's what most guys have to recognize. Most people need to be made aware of this. They need to know how to conduct things properly, how to gain their future by their own hands, to get a hand up instead of a hand down. and grabbing that money. That's it. That's all I want to say to you guys.